So, when is the last time you had a really productive argument? Yeah, that's what I thought. Truth is, we all know that arguments are often, almost always, unproductive. In fact, they go negative in terms of the relationship often. So, today I want to talk about a purpose or a use of poetry that may strike you initially as being odd, unusual. But that's one of the things I love to do with poetry. You see, before I began teaching poetry, or actually during the years that I taught poetry and continue to do so, um, I worked with many, many groups and individuals on sort of the art of communication. So I have a little bit of background, a lot of humility around this subject, but a little bit of background with regard to this business of communication, this business of influencing ourselves first and then other people. But particularly today, we're going to talk about influencing other people. So the title of this particular episode, this is Dale Byron with Heartwork podcast. And the title is Argue with Poems, Not People. Argue with Poems, Not People. Or we could say argue inside poems. That might be even a little bit more to the point. And so I want to use myself as an example. I wrote a piece some time ago called Arguing Inside a Poem Against Unlimited Growth on a Finite Planet. Again, the title, Arguing Against a Poem, I'm sorry, Arguing Inside a Poem Against Unlimited Growth on a Finite Planet. Now, of course, you can see there what was on my mind and what has been on my mind for a long time, which is this sort of whole ecological challenge of that we're facing now. Some people call it the meta crisis, some people call it the poly crisis, but it is the issue of our really attempting to use more earth than we have. That would be a way to say it. And so what I decided to do, the process I want to talk to you about today, is this idea of when something is really on your mind and it's something that you're coming back to over and over again, that one of the things that you can do is to sit down and write. You don't have to call it poetry. You don't have whatever you want to call it. Just sit down and write to get clear. Sit down to write, not necessarily always to say something on your mind, although that's part of it, but it's to get clear, to hear yourself say things you did not know you knew, is the way I like to say it. And that the writing process can be as much about discovery as it is anything else. And so that's what I did. And then you can share so that you begin to get some insight and altitude on how you feel about something and get some clarity on it. So again, this was the little piece. I went through this process for myself, arguing inside a poem against unlimited growth on a finite planet. And the poem goes like this. Humans are clever. Humans are clever. Let's give ourselves that much. Still, no species can brag its way out of extinction. These days we're using 1.7 Earths every single year. These days, we are using 1.7 Earths every single year. Can you explain that to me like I was 7? Okay. We're eating our seed corn, and quickly. We are eating our seed corn, and quickly. We are spending principal, not interest. We're trust fund babies. We are trust fund babies blowing our inheritance. Didn't it take the earth millions of years to trickle charge fossils into being? Yes, and soon they'll be gone in a geologic second. Thinned out, hard to find, like copper, tin, rare earth minerals. Seems each time we make new energy, wind, solar, etc., we just toss it on top of the stack. Nothing gets replaced. Nothing gets replaced. And it is the same story with efficiency. We just use more. And it's the same story with efficiency. We just use more. And did I mention that story about our being separate from, superior to, with dominion over the earth, soil, trees, mountains, plus all the other critters, Yeah, yeah, none of that is true. Yeah, none of that is true. Now, one of the things when you argue with a poem or argue inside a poem, one of the things that happens is that you can get clear about how you think and feel about something. And often you'll come up with metaphors and things that will actually, like, you write the poem and then the poem will inform you back. That's what the process can be like. And in this particular case, when you're arguing inside or with a poem, it's not like arguing with another person. Because as we said at the beginning of this episode, that is often or almost always unproductive. So essentially, if we do our arguing in a poem, within a poem, we can have other people see how we feel, see how we're thinking, all of that, and yet not have them feel, hopefully, not have them feel personally attacked. And that's what, in my many years of working with executives and average people and teams and all sorts of stuff, one of the things that I discovered was that as soon as one of us is feeling attacked, as soon as that happens, we get defended. We're almost all like that. So argue inside a poem. Get clear about how you feel and think about something that's important to you. And then you can share that poem just as I've shared it here. You can share that poem with others, and you can have them share their poems with you. So there's I think, a new and interesting way to think about poetry and its many uses as an art form. Okay, as I always say, thank you so much for your listening ear. And until next time and next poem, take good care of yourself and, if you can, someone else. Oh, and one other thing. Whatever you are really interested in right now, you might be upset about, you're flummoxed by something. Write a poem about it. I'd love to hear it. Thanks so much. Again, take good care and talk soon.